Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second last episode for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on it being an extended episode, go through some of your guys' questions, getting ever closer now to the Whisper border scene. Alright, very cool. So I hope everything is going well with you guys. Spoiler warning as per usual, but not spoilers for, future episodes. I'm not privy to spoilers, but, it looks like we're going to see, based on the comic books, some pretty big events take place here in episode 15 and then carry through to episode 16 after that. So episode 15, they've confirmed now the Calm Before is going to be an extended episode. So heads up for that, guys, when you're watching it this Sunday. It's going to be almost an hour runtime. It looks like 57 minutes, not counting commercials. So that ends up being like 90 minutes on TV. So it'll be an hour and a half with the commercials. So we basically get an episode and a half. So this one is kind of like, I like what they decided to do here, where instead of kind of making episode 16 what it sounds like the big sort of finale episode, it sounds like this year they're doing the second last episode, which is this episode coming up, episode 15, as being kind of your big, episode for this half or for this season. Although I can't say that I think it will outdo, episode 5, Rick's last episode. I mean, that was epic too. But aside from that, it's going to be pretty much the biggest episode of the season outside of Rick leaving and everything. So with this being kind of the true season finale, you get one more episode after. It's kind of the Game of Thrones approach. Game of Thrones has been doing that for a long time, where the second last episode will be this like huge, colossal episode, and then the episode after that may be kind of like so they don't leave you at a cliffhanger, because some people view cliffhangers as kind of like trolling, right? Like they're trolling you a little bit. Like the Who Did Negan Kill thing. I mean, the whole summer it was just people complaining every day that they didn't show us who Negan killed, and we had to wait until the fall. And it worked in terms of driving interest leading up to the fall, but then interest faded out pretty quickly after that, maybe because people were partially trolled or just they didn't like what happened in the episode. But it's kind of cool to have sort of the big episode be episode 15, where you bring in a lot of those major character deaths or whatever they're going to do, heads on pikes or whatever in the field or on the hilly part there where we see Daryl and Yumiko standing, which may or may not be the case. I don't know. Maybe they're looking at something else. But when you look at the pictures, it just looks like they're kind of looking off that way, and it looks like sort of a conversion of a certain part of the comics that we're all looking forward to seeing. So, long story short, episode 15 looks like it's going to be the big kind of finale episode, and then episode 16 will carry over from that, and should still be exciting and everything, but this Sunday's episode is probably going to be the big one. So heads up for that, and extended as well, which is really great. I'm looking forward to it a lot, and it should be really good. And then, questions up in the air for, again, what Season 10 is going to look like, with Michonne leaving and kind of the mid-Whisper arc, and the Whispers likely carrying over this season into next year. I would be absolutely shocked if the Whispers were not a threat at the end of this season. I'm almost positive they're going to carry over into Season 10, even though that's not confirmed or anything, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, they're definitely going to go into next season. There's no question about it. So we do have some questions for today and some new stuff that's going to be coming out. I got some new videos coming for you guys for some other stuff. Apparently there's a trailer for another zombie series, which is sort of like a spinoff to Z Nation on Netflix, which is Black Summer. So there's a trailer for that. So I got to look into that. I haven't seen it yet myself. So I'll watch that, and then I'll do a review for that for you guys probably tomorrow or the next day for Sinsin07, who brought that question up. So thanks, Sinsin. And we got some different questions for today to go through and everything and to have fun with. Eddie Sun says, why does everyone in the zombie apocalypse wear jeans? Well, I think it's a smart, probably because of the picture of Yumiko and Daryl and their attire. I think their attire is kind of cool. I think it fits, it makes sense for what you would expect to see them wear in a zombie apocalypse. The only group's attire that I think is kind of a little bit different, of course, is the Kingdom's, where, but it's smart too, you have hockey pads and stuff and whatever. But why does everyone wear jeans? Well, I think it makes perfect sense to wear jeans. I mean, they're not as easy to bite through as something like something lighter. You can wear them, in the fields and everything. They provide provide some protection, maybe not, not perfect. Like, they could probably get through it if they're roll up a pant leg or something. If you remember, what was Herschel wearing when he got bitten on was it the ankle or the foot? That type of range back at the prison. You guys remember that? That's going way back, right? So I think it makes sense that they wear jeans. I think it's a good thing, and it fits with the style. Alator05 says, I feel like Rosita and Ezekiel might actually get piked. I don't want them to, but you never know, and it might set up pretty well. Sucks because Rosita. So he likes to see Rosita. So we'll see, man. I'm predicting basically. I'm not privy to spoilers for this one. I don't know. I guess maybe there is some leaks or something regarding who's going to be the ones, but I'm going to try to steer clear of that. It's only a few days, so I'm going to try to steer clear. But I might do another final predictions video for picking the 12 or 13. In the comics, it was 13. If you want to be technical about it. And in the TV series, my prediction is sort of that. This is just a prediction. I could be totally off base here, but I think that Alpha will try to take one from these survivors that they took from the Whispers. So the Whispers right now have killed, or the survivors right now have killed a lot of Whispers. The Whispers have not killed that many survivors. I mean, they have killed some, haven't they? But not, well, Jesus, right? But they haven't killed that many, and he was the leader of a community. So that's kind of an assassination type of thing, to kill the leader of a community. So that's huge, right? It's like killing the president or something. So that is big to do that. But at the same time, the survivors have killed a bunch of Whispers. And I haven't counted them exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was around a dozen or more, something like that. And if Alpha will decide, okay, fair is fair, you killed this many from ours, we're going to kill that many from yours, and then have some kind of border or something and try to kind of have it sort of ease off for a while. Like, okay, so she punishes them back for what they did to the Whisper. Well, it's kind of been back and forth, right? It's hard to say, but I think from the Whisper perspective, what they might do is they might punish them back for what the survivors did to them, and then afterwards, set up the border there, and then basically in episode 16 or at the finale, the end of episode 15, she'll basically instruct them that don't come past here, or it's gonna be all out war, basically, right? 2.0, Whisper war. So all they have to do is basically stay on their side. The Whispers will stay in their zone, and it's kind of I guess, Alpha's way of doing peace to make it fair. Same number of heads on both sides or something like this, and mark it off, and then you don't come past here, we don't go past there, that's your territory, this is our territory, and Heisenberg style, stay out of my territory, right? So something like that is kind of where I'm going with regards to what I'm expecting to see, and kind of my predictions based on the comics and based on how I think it makes sense for them to interpret it for the TV series. But we'll see what they actually do, and whether or not Alpha has an exact number that she wants to do, if she's able to best these survivors in this episode 15 and then punish them for what they did in savage Whisperer fashion. But I may do one more video leading up to this Sunday, predictions, where I do predictions on who I think will be part of that 12 or 13, or which ones how I think that will go more specifically. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow or the next day, and you guys can certainly leave your comments below and predictions on who you think it will be. And please, people who are privy to spoilers, if you wouldn't mind, just, it's cool, no problem, just keep it to yourself, and don't post it in the comments. I'm asking nicely, please. Don't do that. If you know who it is, that's fine, but try not to ruin it for anybody else. It's not cool, because not everybody wants to know. We want, like me in particular, I want to see it through because I don't know. So that's exciting when you don't know, and it's like, oh, you're going to see it, and you can kind of predict who it is, but you don't know exactly. Just knowing it is kind of like, it kind of takes the fun. It takes away the anticipation, and it takes away the fun of trying to predict or think who you think they'll do, right? Because it's a lot. It's going to be a lot of people probably. So the most we've ever seen before. So that's different than Negan's introduction or anything like that. So it should be savage, man. It should be crazy. So Dwayne Earl James says, no effing season-to-season cliffhangers. Finish this dumbass Whisper storyline by episode 16 and start season 10 with something new. So he doesn't want to see the Whispers carry on into season 10. And he's got a point in some ways here, right? They stretched out the Savior story arc with Negan to 2 full years and a cliffhanger, so it's almost like 2.5 years if you count Dwight as a villain. And in the second half of season 6, he was a villain. He killed Denise and the other stuff that he did there. So he was a threat there, and so were the other saviors. So it's almost like 2.5 years for saviors. And you could probably argue successfully and win that argument that the saviors went on too long. They should have been cut short, maybe 2 seasons full instead of 2.5, or like start in the second half of season 6, carry through to the end of the first half of season 8, and then the second half of season 8 be something different. I think that the All Out War story arc in the TV series version, even though I was very happy with it, I heard all your guys' comments for years, right? For 7 and 8. For 2 years, I heard all the comments that it's dragging out too long. So I get that, and I hear what Dwayne Earl James is saying here, that you end off the Whispers, but that's, to me, I don't think it's long enough. If you look at the content in the comic book series, there's a lot left there, and I would see them extend that into next year. I would see them extend that into season 10. I would be shocked if they somehow wrap that up by the end of the season, but you never know, because it is a new showrunner now. Angela Kang is there, and she has gone through some storylines faster than kind of what we've been used to. The Rick stuff, I tend to think if it was kind of done the old way that they did the past 2 years, the Rick stuff would have been a whole first half, and then the second half would have just started to introduce the Whispers after, something like that, and not do 5 episodes. But granted, there was contracts involved in that, and they were paying a lot of money for to get Andrew Lincoln to be there, and also Maggie to be there, I would think. So so it makes sense for 5 episodes. But yeah, the pacing I think has kind of picked up a little bit from the story arcs in that they used to go through, a little bit faster now with Angela Kang than what it was in the last few years. But I still expect to see the episodes, or the Whispers in episodes next year in season 10. And maybe some kind of peace, and then rise up, and then battle again. So hopefully it isn't too similar to All Out War, but there'll be some similarities, I think. I don't think that's something you can avoid. Create Till Death says about the photo of the couple. So there was a picture, and if you guys missed the pictures preview video I did 2 days ago, I'll have it in the end screen videos for here. You can watch it after. But there's a picture of a couple kind of coming out of the woods, this kind of thing. And he says that he thinks it's the 2 Whispers from the final scene of last episode, in episode 14. And I think he's right. The one who says we must tell Alpha is kind of stupid. I don't know. I didn't care for the delivery of that particular line. Conviction wasn't there. It was kind of like sort of silly in a B-movie-ish in a way. Anyway, the ones that find the fair, I think it's the fair they're looking at the kingdom, and people going in, and her saying she must tell Alpha. I think it's a her. It's hard to tell with the mask on. But it does look like those 2 people we see. So we might see a couple Whispers infiltrate the fair and just blend in with clean clothes on and act like they're just like everybody else. We might see that in the TV series in this episode coming up. So that could be kind of cool. Spongegar says, Trev, what is your opinion of Micheal Cudlitz teasing a possible return for Abraham on The Walking Dead? Man, that'd be so cool, because I think that even outside of just his time in the series, Micheal Cudlitz as Abraham has done a lot of work for The Walking Dead. He's directed an episode now of this year, and he's done some voice commentaries for the DVDs and Blu-rays and that. So he's kind of involved more in the creative process than just a random actor. I get the sense that he really loves The Walking Dead. I think he does. I haven't seen too many interviews with him recently, and I haven't read this one about teasing the possible return. But I get the sense that he really does love The Walking Dead. He really does like it. And even in season 7, he came back for Sasha later on, didn't he? Whereas Stephen Yeun, unfortunately, didn't come back for Maggie, which would have been cool if he could have, but I get why he didn't want to, considering how brutal the death was and everything like that he just kind of wants to wrap that up and move on with his career onto other stuff. But I think it's awesome, too, that Abraham or Micheal Cudlitz still wants to be involved. Maybe he'll direct future episodes, I don't know. And I think that'd be really cool, because I thought he did an incredible job this year when he did that one episode in the first half. I thought it was fantastic, and he did a really, really great job. Better than I thought, that he would. It was awesome. And it was cool just to have, somebody who was part of the show before come back to direct an episode and still be involved with the show. As a fan, it kind of makes it feel more like it's continuing on and it's still the same Walking Dead that we're used to. So, possible return for him, and that'd be cool if they had him come back for, I don't know, Rosita in some way. Maybe Rosita does get killed. I don't think she will in this episode 15, but maybe she will, and then he comes back for some kind of scene or something. I don't know. what would they have him do if he was to come back, or whether or not it's possible? Maybe he's just, I haven't read the interview through myself, but maybe he's just kind of saying, like, you know, don't count it out, that kind of thing. Like, if there's an opportunity for him to come back, or if it makes sense, then he will. So, so we'll see. And, I'm still very, very appreciative for the work that he's done, and that he's continued on with supporting The Walking Dead and directing and doing different stuff. I hope he continues with that, because that's just really cool. And he seems like a really genuine, great guy, and I loved his character in the show. Abraham was awesome. Steve 0B says, thank the gods you liked episode 14, Trev. People have been whining about it. Oh, it's okay for evil effing killer kids coming at you, but you can't retaliate. Okay, so then he goes a little bit more into it. So I'll just kind of give my general thoughts on this one. I did like episode 14 a lot. I actually loved it. And, I thought it was fantastic for Michonne. And the kid stuff was a bit savage, a bit brutal, but it's something that hasn't been addressed yet. And I thought it made for Jocelyn kind of a pretty fearsome villain, because for a lot of people won't fight back against kids, even if they're stabbing them and stuff like this. Or, it brings in some interesting psychological questions and kind of what would you do, and would you defend yourself? I think you have the right to defend yourself against anybody who's attacking you. It doesn't matter what age they are, whatever they are. If you can subdue them without, harming them, that's great. But in her situation, they did it in such a way where it was pretty brilliant that she had absolutely no choice but to do what she did. They sort of forced her to do what she did. So as far as guilt goes, she doesn't have to feel guilty for what she had to do. It may be traumatic for her, and definitely a traumatic moment, but she doesn't have to go forward with guilt, because she defended what she did what she had to do, and they were attacking her, not the other way around. So she was going to get her daughter, and they were not allowing that, and then attacking her, and she was of course pregnant and everything. So I get it. It's a pretty dark episode, but The Walking Dead is dark, and it's supposed to be dark. And so I thought it was awesome, and I know it's become kind of, in the last few years, at one point it was very pop culture-y, where everybody was checking out this kind of thing. But it is what it is, and it should stay true to what it is. And they also did it in such a way where they didn't have to show heads rolling and stuff like that. So it was really good. It was sort of like they might have to do this this Sunday. Episode 15. So we might see some more even brutal stuff than that come up. But I think that's okay, because it's necessary for the story, and it makes sense for it to be faithful to the comics. They don't want to water it down too much or not show enough. But at the same time, you don't need to always show absolutely everything. You don't need to show every eye popping out of every head, stuff like that. So no wonder why I didn't come back. Okay, if you guys like today's video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. Hope you guys are having a good one. Hope you're having a great day, and some awesome stuff coming this weekend. Can't wait to see this extended episode 15. Looks like it's going to be awesome, and sort of this midpoint for the Whispers, which is what I think it will likely be. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like today's video, thumb it up, share, favorite, all that good stuff. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.